Alright guys, so welcome back. I hope lunch was good. So today we're going to start off with our bell ringer. So open up to a blank document or go back to your notes. Today's bell ringer, I will give you 1 minute for this bell ringer. The bell ringer today is, why is the Treaty of Versailles so devastating for Europe? So from what we learned yesterday, I would start with this bell ringer. I will give you 1 minute and go. I see Lucas thinking. All right, it's been a couple seconds. Does anybody think they have the answer? No one wants to take a whack at the answer? No one? No one? All right. I'm going to cold call on someone. Zoe, what do you think, or why do you think the Treaty of Versailles was so bad?
Because there was monarchies.
No. Okay, do you need to call on someone?
Yeah.
Luke, why do you think so?
It's unfair because all the Europeans and the collective international nations blamed it on Germany.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is the right answer. Remember, the Treaty of Versailles was so devastating, okay, due to the fact that we blamed everything on Germany, correct? We kind of went over that yesterday. That is your bell ringer, and it's going to help set the tone for today. I'm going to give us the objective for the day. Our objective is that students will be able to analyze varied propaganda sources to explain their intended practices in World War I. Now, from what we spoke about yesterday, what is propaganda? It's fake advertising. Someone other than Luke, does anybody else? Zoe, what is propaganda?
It's advertisement to support nationalism.
Okay. Yes.
Political propaganda.
Political propaganda. All right. Yes, Nick.
It can be persuasive.
Persuasive.
You can try to persuade
It's
somebody.
an advertisement.
Okay, I love that. Yes.
It's like to influence people about like political causes and stuff, to like get people to do certain things.
Beautiful. That is also, all of those answers are pretty much right. Propaganda can do multiple different things. You can persuade people. You could get people to believe that the other side is wrong. Correct? What kind of, can propaganda take different forms?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that was good. Josh, what is a form of propaganda?
Like posters or commercials, or like commercial, like the American Navy, like commercials of like join the Navy. This is all the great things you can do with us, like becoming doctors and stuff.
Beautiful. Now, how is that propaganda?
Because like it's like trying to persuade you to like join us. Like look at all the great things we have. Come here.
Beautiful. I love that. That is exactly why that would be propaganda. Think about it. If you are persuading someone to do something, that is obviously some type of propaganda. Now, can propaganda be a commercial for makeup? Sacco?
Yeah,
Yes, how so?
because it's persuading you to buy that makeup.
Would that be, though, bordering on the line of just commercialism? Or would that be bordering on the line of, like, or would that be actual propaganda? What do you think?
It could be stating all the benefits of using this certain makeup product over another one.
Now, that was a question I don't think we can answer just yet. So make sure you mark that down in your notebook. All right, that's a question we'll come back to, because sometimes commercialism and propaganda can differentiate. That's something that might not be something, they might be very similar, then in other ways they're kind of different. Now, what we're looking at right now, this is a form of propaganda. All right, so today we're going to review for a little bit. I'm going to kind of go over what we talked about yesterday. We spoke about the Treaty of Versailles. We spoke about the different sides. Now remember, your test is next week on this. Okay, probably gonna be on Tuesday, okay? Maybe Wednesday depending on the college class, and if we're a little bit ahead of the time. So let's do a little review on to see if we remember what we spoke about yesterday. So, who were the Allied powers during World War I? Who were the Allied powers during World War I? Someone I haven't heard from yet. I'm gonna call Rivers. Allied powers. Can you name one Allied power during World War I?
United States.
United States is one. Great. Adam, what is another one?
France.
France is another one. In mascot.
UK.
UK, yes, those are all three. Perfect. All right. Now, who were we're going to call them the Alliance powers. The other side, I'm losing it now.
The Axis.
The Axis, there we go. The Axis powers. I think that's World War II.
It's a central power.
Central powers.
Can anybody remember what the powers were?
Germany.
Germany, it is Germany. Not
Austria-Hungary.
Austria,
Austria-Hungary.
Hungary. Who else? Anybody?
Turkey.
Italy.
Turkey.
Ottoman Empire. Yes, good job, Danielle.
That's not Turkey.
All right.
It was a central power.
All right. Now, we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to do our gestures. We're going to do something. I am going to ask you a question, all right? And in this question, you're going to, when I say show, the answer will either be 1 or 2, and you're going to show me either a 1 or a 2, okay? On your hands. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right. Was Russia a part of either A, the Axis, or 1, the Axis, excuse me, or 2, the Allies? All right. So you're going to show me 1 for Axis. I'll tell you when to don't do it yet. 1 for Allies and 2 for Axis. All right. And I'm going to, when I say go, you're going to show me your hand. All right.
What country?
Russia. All right. Remember, 1 is Axis, 2 is Allies. All right. Russia was a part of the. What force was Russia a part of? And show. So 1 is correct. They are the, Allied powers, right? They are part of the Allied powers.
I thought you said allies was 2.
Oh my goodness, I'm so bad. Yes, 2. Yes, who had 2 up?
Me.
Yes, all right. Remember, Russia is part of the Allied powers. All right. Now, did Russia though last throughout the whole war?
No.
No. What happened at the end of the war? Blake, what happened to Russia at the end of the war?
There was civil war.
Yes, there was civil war, which led to what? Luke.
Communism.
But what was that called? Yes, Zach.
Bolshevik Revolution.
All right, so that was called the Bolshevik Revolution. What was the revolution that brought on communism, Logan? What brought on communism? What revolution brought on communism in Russia? Anybody? Chauncey, what brought on communism what revolution brought on communism?
Was it the March?
It's the Bolshevik Revolution, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, Bolshevik Revolution. What brought on communism in Russia, Luke?
Revolution.
Right, the Bolshevik Revolution. Zachary, what brought on?
The people were tired of the monarchy.
Right.
But it was the Bolshevik.
But it was still the revolution, right?
He's asking the
He's
same
just asking the
question.
same
He's asking the same
question.
question. I was so confused.
Oh, I'm so confused. My goodness, just thrown off. All right, let's get back to the review. So, the Conservative Party poster in. So you have this type of propaganda, correct? What is this propaganda showing us? Does anybody want to tell me, like, what do they see when we? What are they seeing from this?
Socialism was bad.
Socialism and bad. What do we see from this picture?
A monkey
That's
strangling a girl.
socialism.
Is that a monkey?
Is
that
socialism?
One person at a time. Colin, what do we see from this? Can you describe what's happening up here?
Like monster brewing prosperity, showing that evils of socialism.
Okay, I like that. Can anybody tell me, look deep into this? I'm going to close the blinds a little bit more. All right.
Why is they standing on a UK flag?
That's a shield.
Why
She's
is it
standing on
the UK flag?
Okay. It's standing on the Union Jack, right?
Oh.
What does this
Wearing
look
a
like?
Roman helmet.
It looks like a
Green.
The
Trojan.
thingies, the knights
Spartan.
The
The
not
Romans.
the nice.
The Romans or
Greeks.
the Greeks?
Yeah.
Who were the founders of democracy?
Oh.
The Greeks. So posterity. So this is the image of posterity and not Greece, but
Democracy.
democracy, and socialism is strangling democracy. Now let's think about it. Do you really think though someone would have gotten that from staring at that poster?
No.
Someone in the 1900s, especially a child?
No.
No.
No. You just see a monster strangling a woman, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of scary, right? Just a crazy monster strangling a woman. That isn't something, remember, we're thinking deep into this. Most people that saw propaganda were not. What they're seeing is just that image, and that image is striking up fear. Now, Nicholas, are you going to think about this picture the same way as someone else?
No.
What is that called? If you see something differently than someone else? No, it's the key.
Point of view.
Perception. Remember, Jordan may think differently than the way Blake is going to think about that picture, correct? So, you can kind of tell most people would have saw this image, you would have seen the woman, but I don't think most people would have seen, oh my goodness, it's democracy. Now, moving on. This one, we've all seen this one, right, before?
Yeah.
Perfect. What do you see when you see this picture, Cole? What do you feel when you see this picture? What do you feel? America. America. Do you feel more American than when you see this picture? Yes. Alright. I want you for the U.S. Army. Now, do you think they actually wanted everybody?
No.
Do you think they would have wanted me?
No.
No. Oh, come on. I could have blocked a bullet. Alright, made food. I probably would have
Or
been like,
5.
I could have been a cook.
Oh,
Alright, so you feel more American. So Cole, you feel more American when you see this picture? Why so? What brings about that Americana? His hat? What else? Okay, so his hat looks...
he's pointing.
He's pointing at you, right?
Yes.
And what is he trying to say? Like, you... What
He
you
wants
think?
you.
He wants you, but why would he want you?
Because you're American.
No, that's not what I meant. Like
Because
you...
me.
Because you're American.
Because you're American. If you're an American, you should do what?
Fight for America.
Fight.
for your
America.
Right.
For your
Now, when we looked at that last picture, which one's easier to understand? It
This
has
one.
this one, right? This one's more clear,
It
right?
literally says, I want you to.
Right. So there's no like. So guys, can we agree that there's no like message here?
Yeah.
There's no
Well,
message.
Well, hidden.
Well,
message.
No hidden
No.
message.
Oh.
Right. I'm glad. Okay. Glad I clarified. But there's no hidden message. It's not like again. So there's no hidden message that we have here. And I think that was, again, this is American propaganda, whereas this one is British propaganda, right? Do you think this would have made sense to an American from what we know?
No.
No. Do you think this would have made sense to a British person?
Maybe.
Possibly, maybe.
Slight
chance.
Slight chance.
Slight chance. Remember, this was taken from the British. We just made it more American by throwing on red, white, and blue, right? Made it a little bit more American. Now, this one is our last piece of propaganda. All right. Can someone read that last bit of what does that say at the bottom, Reggie? What does it say? Or rather, what is it? What is it trying to depict here?
Daddy, what did you do in the Great War?
Okay.
It's basically saying that after war life, or if you attend the war and fight in it, that you'll be like this hero, to where people look up to you and want to hear your story.
So for us right now, does this make sense?
No.
Kinda, I guess.
Going over it.
Right. It kind of makes sense, but is this like compared to the other two? What kind of feeling is this one trying to strike?
Home feeling.
A home feeling. What else?
Love.
Love of what?
Family.
Okay.
Why is you all capitalized? I don't know.
Ooh, why? That's a good question, Logan. Why would that be?
It's emphasized.
Why is
It's
that
not asking
emphasized?
the daddy, it's asking the person reading it.
Okay. But what would they try? What is it trying to get the reader to do?
Look back on yourself. Like, what did you do?
What did you? Ooh.
Your image to your thing.
Okay. So we can only assume maybe this man here, he could have been a traitor, we don't know. It looks like here that maybe he didn't fight in the war. That's my image, alright?
Is that like a sentimental thing, or it's like, what did you actually do?
Right. So what it's not trying to do is not sentimental. It might not be. What it's trying to do is, did you do what was right during the war? Like, did you ration during the war?
Actually do something.
Right. Did you go and collect? Did you fight for the war, or did you just?
Sit there and watch it all happen.
Right. And this is why I didn't tell you this yesterday, but in England, rationing didn't take place. The United States rationed, but the British did not. And the reason for that was they didn't realize they had to. How long did they think the war was going to last? Like a couple weeks, right? So they didn't ration. What happens is by the end of the war, only rich people all the rich people were buying the food. The poor people did not. And England was trying to ration their food, but the rich people kept buying all their stuff. So as you can see here, this man is upper middle class from what it looks like, and they're trying to place judgment on the rich, like, you didn't help in the war. The poor people are not, like, you didn't listen to them, you didn't help them, and look what happened to us. And sadly, that's probably what the image they're trying to give. Now, will this be different from person to person? Bless you. Will this be different from person to person?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. It will be different from person to person, but that's just how it works, right? Now, I am going on to this. We spoke about Russia yesterday, right? I am going to skip this. But remember, the last year of the war, we also spoke about this. But the peace treaty, remember, Woodrow Wilson is our president. Yes, he is our president. From what I said yesterday, did the United States have a good idea about?
Yes.
Yes. Right, we had a good, peaceful idea, correct? Remember, the reason why I'm kind of going over this is that in your guided practice, we're going to kind of speak about basically we're going to speak about this type of propaganda. We had propaganda even about the Treaty of Versailles. Why do you think we had propaganda about the Treaty of Versailles? Why do you think we needed to get people on board? Yes, Adam.
Because it was unfair.
It was unfair. So do you think the United States was trying to go against the Allies? No. We're trying to reinforce the Allies.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else want to throw in their opinion on this or share an idea? Officially, we tried to go along with the Allies, but we had a different plan, correct? Our plan is we wanted to help everyone else. We wanted to help the losers of the war, and we wanted to actually help them but they wanted to help them basically rebuild. Sadly, we weren't able to do that because the Senate, the House of Representatives and the Senate did not allow Woodrow Wilson to join something that he created, the League of Nations. That's something you should have in the notes. The League of Nations, we did have propaganda, and the executive office tried to get people on board with the idea of the League of Nations, but it didn't pass. Why do you think the League of Nations didn't pass? Why do you think Americans didn't want to be a part of that?
Then they would have to fight in other wars.
Okay, that's one idea. Colin, what do you think? You can phone a friend if you wish.
Something like Zoe was saying, like how they didn't want to stay neutral with the war.
Okay. And they were afraid that maybe we'll get into another war. Do you really want, some of us like I'll be honest, I like watching other people's drama, right? When you go on, Instagram and you'll scroll and you'll see that, on the Explore, when you go on Explore and the Kardashians are fighting with each other and you're like, oh, that's good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not fighting in that, right? That's not me. But then if I join, let's say I join their fan club or I join the family, oh gosh. But if I join their family, then I'd be involved in their drama, right? And also, I would be rich, but I would be in part of their drama, correct? That's what the United States was afraid of. They were okay watching the drama from America, right? That's y'all's problem, right? But if we get involved, if I'm joining, I'm going to have to help you out. And we don't want to do that, right? And then guess what? More killing and more dying, right? And we don't want that. Please write down isolationism or put isolated. The U.S. remains isolated even though we made a bunch of propaganda to try to get people on board. So what did the propaganda do? Was propaganda helpful in that aspect?
No.
No. Why would, like, we can kind of see we didn't join, so the propaganda failed. So does propaganda always work?
No.
No. So like that Navy, remember you were saying about the Navy video, and we were like, you know, people, does everybody, like, people are, you know, running, they have the Navy, and you're trying to join the Navy. Do you think everybody's joined the Navy? No, like, I certainly did it, right? Did you join the Navy yet? No, of course not. Also, you're in high school, I don't think you can yet, right? Oof, no, neither. Alright, so let's move on to guided practice. As you see, I have 3 pages of this, very short, because you also have some assignments to do, okay? So what I want you to do is to get with maybe a group of 3 or 4, alright? And in the 3 or 4, you're going to, for about, let's say 5 or 6 minutes, you're going to write at the bottom, you're going to have some room over here. And I want you to, all of the people in your group, to analyze this propaganda. Tell me what it's about, tell me what it's trying to do, and what it wants you to do, okay? So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Alright, you're going to analyze this propaganda, alright? After you analyze this propaganda, Reggie, what do you do?
After you analyze the propaganda,
What do you do? What should you do?
not sure.
Okay, after you analyze the propaganda, what should you do with your group? Where should you record your findings? Yes. I will come around and help you see what you're doing. Okay? Does that make sense? Alright, please get in your groups. Alright, people around you, someone behind you. Once you're in your groups, you can kind of scoot the chairs. It'll only be a few minutes. You can even just turn around. Alright? So, I'm going to hand this out to you all. Alright? You're going to be in this group. Okay, you 4. Alright, I'll have you in the back. Yes, perfect. Thank you. You 4 right here. You want me to scoot over? Here, have a piece. You
Okay, so
all here.
We need to come look.
Alright, so you 4 right here, is that okay? Perfect. Alright. You 4. I'm right next to you. Sorry. Hold on, sorry. You can see I'll have it. Logan, I have one on your desk. I'm gonna go through. Alright, y'all, anybody else need another copy? Y'all in the back, right?
Yes, it's me, Jordan.
Beautiful. Alright, so please start now. Look over it, read it.
How long are we staying?
About 6 minutes at this point. Here you go.
Thanks.
So what do we see?
Well, money in book is highlighted.
So who wrote this?
The American Library Association.
Okay. What do you think they were trying to do?
Their money brings the book.
So you see this man here? This man, it's hard. This is a sailor. And kind of blurry, right? He's a sailor. They didn't have TV back in the time, so what do you think they were trying to do? They're getting people to read, but they're trying to send. You're sending books over there. Right, so what would that do? Would that make you, if someone sent you something in the mail, wouldn't that make you feel? Yeah, it's like a gift, right? Of course they can. What are we saying for these pictures? Oh wait, they do. I'm sorry. 1 second. Their money brings the books we need. So you don't have TV, you don't have radio, you're fighting in the front lines. What do you think you're trying to instill? Just books and supplies. I'm not just going to send you a book just to send you a book. Especially if I have to read it. What are you trying to show them? What are you giving me? You're entertaining them. And also they're in English. What do you also, what kind of books do you send them? Books about democracy. Okay.
Your bonus
It's down there. It's down there.
I might have to cut this short, guys, but take about 2 more minutes, okay? A what? Ooh, think about what would a bond? What does it sound like? Right? This, in what language do you think this is in? Beautiful.
Because we translated it.
Huh?
We translated it and then.
Wow. Good job. Y'all using that Spanish. Don't y'all like this second picture? I love the second picture.
Yeah, I know. I need to
The bones of
Alright.
That's about.
So guys, let's bring it back together. Y'all took a few moments, but what do we see? I'm going to see
An
it.
extra paper.
We are going to go. Oh, thank you. Let's go to the second page, guys. Bring it back together. For the sake of time, we will only analyze this picture here. So, guys, y'all come back to me. Okay. So what you see is that your Liberty Bond will help stop this. What is happening here? What are we trying to show?
Look, he's being crucified.
Not so. It looks like that, doesn't it?
Oh, okay, the second one.
Yes.
Oh,
Like,
low-key.
what would this look like? Is this?
It looks like a
hanging
Mexican
someone.
being killed.
No, it looks.
It looks like a German
He's like,
soldier.
crucifying.
He's getting what? What is that called, though?
He's
Nailed.
getting beaten up.
He's getting
He's getting
nailed.
nailed
cross,
to the tree.
crucified.
Assaulted.
Torture?
That's not lunch.
Yeah,
No,
torture
this
makes
looks
no
different.
sense.
Americans are going to save him.
Yes. Remember the Zimmerman telegraph?
Yeah.
This came about. So Mexico. You are right. This is Mexican propaganda. It's for American and Mexico. Remember, Texas at this time wasn't all, and not everybody spoke English. All right. So what you will see here is your Liberty Bond will help stop this, and as you can kind of see, we're showing Mexican citizens and also American citizens to get on board the bandwagon. All right. Come help the United States. Look, America's going to help you, but you need to be on our side. All right. That's basically what we're saying because, as you can see, it isn't obviously Spanish. Okay. So it's kind of like you're getting people on board. Now, let us start. We're going to start on your homework. So guys, go to Google Classroom. All right, and please take out those headphones I told you to bring. All right. On Google Classroom, I will have a radio broadcast. Remember, TVs were not here at this time. Remember, radio is also propaganda. So I want you to go to Google Classroom. It should be the first announcement there. Click on it. Listen to that. You're going to listen to that propaganda, and then you're going to write about that experience. What was it trying to do? What was that propaganda trying to do? Okay? You can absolutely type it. Please send it to me on Google Docs, okay? So you may start that now. And if you're having trouble, just let me know. I know the internet's been very shaky. Shaky. Using my vocab words right now.